Hello, everybody. Welcome to Sow and Tare live chat. We do this every Monday night at 6 p.m. Pacific time. And yeah, we always have a great time. So, welcome. If you have questions or if you have discussion topics that are homesteading related, go ahead and put them in the comments. We'll get to them as we go through, and we always have a good time. As always, I have a topic of discussion that I will reveal partway through the chat, and we can talk about that. And so you know how it works. I go through the comments in order and answer questions, and we discuss topics and all of that. We start off with a bunch of hellos usually. So let's get started. Steve says hello, Dawn, but Dawn said she was first, but she's a part of Friends of Sow and Tare Facebook group, and I'm gonna put that link right here. She made it a point to to tell me that she was first because it always disappears. Anyway, there you go. So Steve's here. Welcome. Faradros is here. Welcome. More Steves. Mid-South Sweets. Welcome. Steve, you're funny. You're funny. Dawn says, watch all these comments disappear when she starts. Yeah, it was just yours, Dawn, I think. Just yours. You're special that way. Got a special shout out, though. So, hey. All right. Steve says, I don't think they'll leave if we have the window open. But then again, I've been wrong before. Yeah, I don't know how it works. Anyway, welcome. Yeah, my first comment was Steve's. Hey, Erica. Welcome. Hope you're doing okay over there and processing through things. Joy's here. Welcome, Joy. Good to see you here. And Verna's here. Verna is Vay's Place. She is my moderator. You'll see her in blue. And she raises quail and cooey and soon-to-be rabbits in her apartment. So check her channel out. She does a live on Saturday mornings, and she has a lot of knowledge. She will also be giving a master class at Quail University. Not Quail University. She will also be giving a master class at QuailCon. And on intro to raising quail. And she's speaking before me. I will be giving a master class on raising quail in aviaries. And it's all great. It's all going to be so fun. If you're not signed up for QuailCon, time to do it. QuailCon starts in September. It's the 2nd and 3rd. It's a long weekend. You only get 2 days, though, there. And so it's a lot of fun. You're going to learn a lot, and it's awesome. So we'll try and shout out people who are going to be there as they come in. Steve's going to be at the welcome table. So, and Verna is for a little bit too. All right. Hey, we got hearts. Verna's having a long night tonight. Oh, you're sexing and butchering your animals. That does sound like a long night. You have a lot to do. Steve says, QuailCon, 26 days. 26 days. That is not very much time. 25 days for volunteers, Verna says. Yep. Good evening, everyone, from Ed. Welcome, Ed. Ed is also going to be at QuailCon spilling his crafty secrets. So you'll get, that's like the only place you can get him. He's not, yeah, they're not out in the world. You got to go to QuailCon to get them. Erica wants to learn how to call and sex and butcher. Yeah, you're going to learn all sorts of stuff at QuailCon. It's going to be so much fun. Aaron's here. Hey, everyone watching from South Louisiana. Welcome, Aaron. And Aaron is going to be teaching how to butcher. So he's one of the 3 people. Brad and Jasmine, I think, are the other 2, who's going to be teaching you how to butcher. And then you get to do it by yourself with help or with encouragement from Aaron, etc. That's what we're going to call them until they show up, right, Aaron? All right. You guys jumped already. Hey, Gidra's Family Farm is here. Hey, Christina. She says, hey, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Oh, butchering cooey. That's what you're talking about. Okay. Aaron said, oh, got it. All right. Joy says, I'm trying to build a brooder for the 126 chicks I have. What was I thinking? Banging head on wall. You're thinking you have more space than you do. That's what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking. I've been there. You're thinking, oh, I'll deal with this when I before they'll come out. I have 2 weeks to do it. No, you don't. So that's something actually that's good to talk about, because so many people start projects, start animals, start, all this stuff without a habitat for them, whether that's a cage, a brooder, like brooder space, an aviary, a whatever their housing is going to be. And it always takes longer to build those things than you expect. So that is something to keep in mind. And yeah, if you have eggs going in the incubator, know where the babies are going. But I think we've all been there, Joy. I don't know, Dawn. It is just yours. You're just there too early, I think. I have no idea. Sue says, Joy, don't you love having the chicks, then building a wall around them? That's how I did it the first time. It's exactly what I'm talking about, Steve. Oh, boy. Hey, Landry's Little Farm is here. Welcome, welcome. Haven't seen you in a while. Good evening, everyone. Been out for a while. We finally got our first quail today from Aaron and Christina. We're excited about this adventure. We're excited about this adventure, too. Awesome. That is so awesome. And you have a good neighbor down the road to help you out, too, for sure. And Verna's talking. It says, after this live stream, I will be adding Ed's beef jerky along with the fish jerky I have in the dehydrator. Cool. Paul's here. Welcome, Paul. First giant Georgia bobwhite quail egg today, approximately 120 days old. Did not expect eggs that soon. That is awesome. I've never raised. I do know they take longer. But that is very, very awesome. And bobwhites I think of as small, so giant bobwhites sounds contradictory to me. But that is awesome. Are you raising them for eggs or for meat or for dog training, or what are you raising them for? We'd like to know. Verna says, also have to load up the freeze dryer with cherries, tomatoes, and banana peppers. Yeah, my freeze dryer still has peaches in it. And so I'm doing, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Every Bit Counts challenge. And that's something that I'm doing. I missed one day already. But it's putting up something every single day in the month of August. It's a challenge Three Rivers Homestead started. And so this is my first year participating and doing that. I mean, I put up food a lot in August. That's when, things are happening a lot. But the point of it is sometimes you have a little bit of time. Sometimes you have a lot of time. Sometimes you have a medium amount of time. And so that's something that I'm mostly committing to. We're going to miss a few days, I think. But yeah, I have that in the freezer right now. I chopped up a ginormous one of those squashes you saw me harvest in the video today, and put that on a freeze dryer tray, 2 freeze dryer trays it took on the large size. And those are in the freezer. I have 3 more trays to fill up, so I'll be doing that after the live for what I'm doing this time. And basically the idea behind it is that you'll save a little bit and you do a little bit of work each day. And in the end, at the end of August, you go, whoa, I did a lot because I did a little bit every day. Every bit counts. So that is videos. I was going to incorporate that with a week in review, but that tends to get pretty long. So I just decided it's going to be tomorrow's video. And it's just going to be a clip from each day talking about every bit counts. So if you haven't heard of that, go ahead and look it up. Other people are doing it. There's people that are doing videos every day. If I was more together this year, I would have, but I am not as together this year. So there you go. Aaron says, Paul, that's pretty good for this time of year. Oh, that's right. Aaron has grown all sorts of quail. Yum, those sound good, Dawn says. You guys skipped. Hang on. Paul says, thanks, Aaron, but the bird gets all the credit. Greetings from Southwest MI. MI. Missouri? No. Is that right? Mississippi? Tell me what MI is. All right. Greetings. And Vern is asking Paul if you're going to QuailCon. Oh, you can't. You know, you're closer to it than I am. Whatever state MI is, because I'm in California and I'm coming. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun, and it's a lot of information. It's like information overload sometimes, but it's a lot of fun. Joy says, I have 5 plastic totes for brooders, but I really want to get them out of my house. They will outgrow them soon. So what you're saying is you can't see the floor. Verna says, figure it this way. Put eggs in incubator. You have 16 days to work on your brooder. Then once they are in the brooder, you have 2.5 weeks to build your cages. Yeah, but maybe it should be done earlier than that because it always takes longer. Always. Hey, Andy Rabbit's here. Hello. And Silver Creek Aquatics here. Howdy, y'all. Howdy. Hope you guys are doing good. Oh, and Paul says he raised them for a hobby. That's awesome. That is awesome. Gidro says, I like that's challenge. Makes you push a little bit harder to get your stuff preserved somehow. Yeah, and for me, I kind of took it to the level of, like, we process quail. What was that? Saturday, I think. Was it Saturday or Sunday? I don't know. I don't know what day it is anymore, guys. It's Monday today. But we processed quail this weekend. And so for me, that will go in the freezer, and freezing is a way to preserve. So I counted that, plus I did something else. I don't remember what I did. But, to me, that counts. To me, the steps count. If you collect a bunch of stuff, okay, that's not quite preserving. That's not quite what they're talking about. But I think it does count towards stuff because I know for me, I work full time, and sometimes it's hard to, at the end of the day, go out and go, oh my gosh, I have all this garden stuff to do. So sometimes the thing you accomplish that day is bringing stuff inside, and then maybe the next day you cut things up, you put it in the fridge to deal with later. And the next day, like that, that's how I operate because I work full time. That's how a lot of the preservation stuff happens here. Just because of time constraints. And so if you're thinking, oh, I can't do that. Oh, I can't do that. Like, can't is not a good word. You can. It's how. How do you do it? How can you make this happen? And maybe you set a goal for yourself. Well, this year I'm going to do this much. I'm gonna can salsa. That's all I'm doing. That's all I'm committing to. Anything extra is a bonus, Or I'm going to be doing this much meat or this much. And so you can commit small, but still do it. And then once you do that, you're like, oh, I can do these other things. And then you'll learn how to multitask, which if you haven't seen multitasking video that I did, you should check that out because that happens quite often here where I'm doing lots of different stuff. And yeah. All right. Oh, Joy is asking, Verna, anything special you have to do with bananas before you freeze dry them? Clean and slice. All right. No lemon juice, huh? All right. Andy's done with the day. Just got the day done. Good, good, good. Relax. Hey, Feather Connection Homestead. Hey, I'm here. Welcome, Kelly. Welcome, welcome. Glad you're here. Oh, Michigan. I was way off. Thank you, Steve. I know like there's MIMO. Like I didn't learn that until I did my my undergraduate in Iowa. And like there's like a person in the middle of the states. If you live in that area, you know what I'm talking about. And if you don't, then or MIMO, I think it's the L and N. Then we never learned it. It wasn't important out here on the West Coast, but it makes sense. But yeah, I have forgotten these things. Oh, Andy Rabbit's asking for the bananas. Do you have to freeze dry them when they're ripe or when they're soft or when they're harder? I think it probably wouldn't matter, and it would probably just be sweeter or not sweeter. Is my inexperienced opinion. We'll see what Verna says. Yeah, Verna says pit the cherries, which mean I cut them in half, slice the tomatoes and peppers. Yeah, I did cherries pitted, and they turned out really good. Thank you, Andy Rabbit, who also knows what MI is, Michigan. Joy says, I already have more eggs in one incubator and more auction eggs coming. Joy, are you an addict? It's okay. It's okay. You can be an addict here as long as it's quail or gardening. Verna says, if they are soft, then they are turning bad. Oh, that's your opinion on bananas? You like green bananas? Ugh. I like the spotted ones. Hey, Truck 3 Wardens here. Evening all from Wisconsin. I know that one. Welcome, welcome. Everybody's saying hi. Yeah, they are sweetest when they get soft. That's when I like them, but I have a sweet tooth, so maybe several. Maybe several sweet teeth. And Vera says, I want the little bit of heat. Oh, you're putting them together. Hopefully not with the banana, but with the other one. Bubblegum lights outside. One what? I have no idea what you meant. Oh yeah, the word can't doesn't exist when you flip your chain of thought of how can I do it, Verna says. Yep, well said. Yep. What you gonna do when they come for you? I don't know. My response is bad boys, bad boys. Isn't that the song? Verna says, I'm Paul. I'm not redneck, but I have a heck of a lot more than that. Good turnips in your bedroom. Yeah. Yep. Hey, Diana Tuttle Top Farms here. Hey, y'all. Welcome, welcome. Paul says, don't know why I hatched out more, but I did. Dry hatch worked well. 23 out of 27. That is awesome. I have little babies over there that they're actually going to go bye-bye probably right after this live. They're going to be reptile feeders. But I did dry hatch this time, and there's a bunch in there, so it worked. And they came early. They came a day early, so they hadn't even gone on lockdown yet, and there was 8 fluffies in there. So yeah, here we go. Versus peppers are one I'm freeze drying, but banana peppers I slice, but bananas I slice and freeze dry. Doesn't matter how ripe they are. I thought she was talking about banana peppers. Okay. No, we know if banana peppers are soft, then they're bad. Hey, Bob says, finally got some rain today. 2.5 inch in an hour. You're in New Mexico, right? That's a lot of rain. Wow. Verna likes banana soft and speckled. Darker the better. And slice them, but not doing bananas tonight. All right, all right. Glad you're not the only one. No, this is a great community for raising food, raising animals and garden and fruit trees and all the self-sufficiency stuff. I mean, I'm on 7,000 square foot lot in town, and I raise quail, chickens, rabbits, and for meat and eggs, you know, not the chickens are only eggs and rabbits are only meat, but there you go. And I have over 40 fruit trees and garden space. So if I can do it on that much land, then you can do it too. And you can do something even in an apartment like Verna does as well. Yeah, you can raise food, and we like to do that. Hey, Eric's here. I just finished 5:30 PMS. All right, welcome. Glad you could join. Andy Rabbit says, I am finding dry hatch is the way to go. Even 10% humidity works. Interesting. Yeah, mine was, I think, 30 or 35 is what it was. Yeah. Verna got lousy rain too. All right. And Eric, yes, you're here for the live stream. Awesome. Welcome. Feather Connections says, every time I try and watch your stream, it cuts out really bad. I've heard others say it too, so I know it's not me. Bummed because I love when I can hear it. I am sorry. I don't know what's going on. I don't have anything else open. I don't have anything else plugged in. I literally turned off the computer and turned it back on before the live. Spectrum internet. I don't know. I'm like half an hour south of San Jose. I should have good internet. So I apologize. The replay tends to do that less. I did see the last one. I think it did it a little bit, but it does do it less. So something with my internet. Sorry, guys. Oh, and Verna's saying Aaron and Bob were winners yesterday. Awesome. Yesterday or Saturday? But hey, that's good. You won. Esau, did I say that right? Esau, welcome. It says working good for me. Good. Welcome. What do you raise, or what do you want to raise or grow in your garden or animals? Ed says, I'm going to make my dinner, so I'll be listening. Going to work on filling egg earrings. Yeah, we understand. That's a busy task, and you have lots to do, right? Yeah, Verna says live stream is doing good tonight. That's good. Let me know if it doesn't, and I mean, I can't do anything about it, but if it does start to go wonky, just let me know so I know. But you can also reduce the quality of the video, and that can help. So that's another tip. Yeah, we're stuck with what we're stuck with. And Eric says maybe get a new router. Spectrum is not good. Yeah, maybe it's their router. I should actually talk to them, huh? That's a good idea. Thank you. Stu says not cutting out this evening on my end, but I'm not high in the air like Kelly. I don't think altitude has anything to do with it. She's closer to the satellites, Steve. She's closer to the satellites. Come on. Not that it works that way. Oh boy. Saturday. Okay. Yeah, I figured. Awesome. Congratulations. Yeah, Spectrums don't have problems. It's either that or Frontier here, and Frontier in this area is really not great. So, yeah. Okay. Bounces off the mountains. Maybe. Wow. Well, so I hope everybody's doing good today. There's a lot going on here, like always. One thing that happened I was telling you about earlier is the quail that hatched. I did a dry hatch, and I did a dry hatch before once, and it didn't turn out very good. It wasn't bad. It wasn't horrible, but it wasn't great. But I also the temperature went weird. This is the Hovabator, and so I, cleaned it out real good and all that, and it looks like it's better now. But so that's a reminder. If you haven't cleaned your incubator in a while, it's time to. And you can use the spray air they use for electronics to get in there and spray out everything as well. So there you go. That's something. That's something. All right. Bob says power went off a couple hours. Incubator down to 83 on Govee. Assume eggs okay. How old are they? So we have a couple of people in here that have had multiple power outages and multiple things going on with their hatches. And I think everybody who's had that happen has had some hatch. So what I do when I had this happen once when they were incubating and once when I had just taken them out. So let me get this. So what I keep on hand is these hand warmers. And I got them from Big Five. You can get them from, anywhere, online or Walmart or whatever. And they're these little packets. Well, there's 2 in a packet. But basically what you do is you crack them and then you shake them, kind of do that. And they heat up a lot. And for my Hubabator, and if you don't know what that is, you can look it up, but it's like that big square. 4 of them in there kept it nice and toasty. So I think I could have gone 3, but that is something good to keep on hand if you don't have a generator or some other power source to connect into. Then that's something definitely to keep on hand. And yeah, so I would say continue your incubation and see what happens. And there's no reason to stop it, and to throw eggs away or anything like that. Just continue it. Yeah. But then also know the things that you need to keep things going. Should it happen again. Another thing you can do if you don't have that is if you have hot water, you can make hot water. If you can make a fire, you can make hot water. If your hot water heater is not working or stove isn't working, whatever, you can make hot water. And put that in a water bottle and then put that in there and that will radiate heat. I've used that method. I did that with a gallon milk jug and used that for the brooder. And I actually, instead of putting it in the brooder, I actually took the babies out and put them all in a cooler and cracked the lid and put that in there. There's a short out there somewhere about that. If you want to see that, there's a short. I don't even remember what I named it, but probably power outage or something like that. And that kept them warm all night. So that works well as well. Yeah. Oh, you said you have police in your area, Verna? Well, stay inside. Kelly says, I guess so, Verna. No idea what the issue is here. It could be my end as well. If nobody's seeing it tonight, it's probably not, but I don't know. You can try reducing the quality of the video, and that might help. Verna's saying your eggs will be fine, to Bob. And Steve, you're funny. Aaron says, how's the flooring coming along? Oh, yeah, I kind of forgot about that. I will do the video. So the last video in the series, for those who don't know, we've had 2 videos so far about kitchen flooring. The first one was, what was the first one? I don't remember what the first one was. One of them was tearing. Oh, the first one was how to fix a squeaky floor, and the second one was tearing out the coving, which is the curved part that you see in kitchens. Sometimes you see it in bathrooms too. And then putting in the kitchen floor, that is a video that I'm going to have to put together and do voiceover and stuff like that because Manuel's brother and his helper did that. And I asked if I could film, and they said, yeah. And they said, oh, just put it over there. And so I'm not exactly sure what type of video I got. And I did ask him questions in hopes that the camera was picking it up. But I might have to recreate a little bit of dialogue there and figure out how to do that. And then they did have their music on, so I have to turn that off and maybe do voiceover there. So it's going to take a little bit more work, but I'm glad you're enjoying that and are interested in it, because yeah, it is coming. I just forgot about it. It probably will be next week. It might be Sunday. I don't know. Maybe Sunday, maybe next week. Tuesdays in August are reserved now for the Every Bit Counts challenge. So yeah, thanks for asking. It's there. It's still there. It's working. All right. Dawn says, I got a new micro dwarf tomato seed in today, Red Robin, for hydroponics. This summer is my test of several micro dwarfs while tomatoes are in the garden. Awesome. I hope that works really well for you. That sounds really great. I know the micro dwarfs, they can put on actually a lot of food, but I've heard they taste really good. You have to let us know. And I'm getting tomatoes this year. Eric says, I just arrived home now. Welcome home. Andy Rabbit says, I just had a really good hatch, all but one egg hatch. That is awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. You are rocking it, Andy. So awesome. And you guys jumped. Hang on, I gotta get back. And Bob says lockdown is Friday. Good luck. Good luck. Buster says I'm late. Been busy with chores. That is okay, Buster. You got to get that stuff done. Welcome to the chat. TOF eggs. I don't know what TOF is. I don't abbreviate much. I even call the refrigerator. Come on, guys. Ton of something eggs, maybe. Verna says, I got a case of them from Amazon. Mine are the 18-hour ones. A case of these. Yeah. These are 10 hours. And they're hot, and they stay hot for 10 hours. It's not like it wanes down and then it's like cold at 10 hours. They're still hot at 10 hours. So they are good to have for sure. Everybody's saying hi. And Aaron is saying, Andy hatching Master Rabbit. That's an awesome hatch rate. Absolutely. Blanking on top helps too. Yeah, Bob. When I did that, I put those in and then I wrapped it in a blanket, and then I came back and the temperature was way high, so I kept it unwrapped. That's why I'm saying only 3 of those would probably be fine. I didn't need 4. I was overzealous. Yeah. Do the hand warmers burn the babies? I'm trying to think. I think I had babies in there and I didn't scald them or anything. I think I had babies in there. I don't think I had eggs. I think. Yeah. And if you're concerned about that, you can always, wrap them in a cloth or something like you would for like ice, if you're putting ice on yourself. Everybody's congratulating Andy Rabbit on a great hatch. I'm not going to freak over a power outage anymore. Yeah, Andy Rabbit was one of the people I was talking about that has had several hatches that survive power outages. The strong survive. Bob's saying, is that a peacock feather? Yes. My phone screen is cracked. Yes, it is a peacock feather. It was on my dashboard at a job site that there were peacocks in this neighborhood. So I don't know if someone put it there or if it just maybe a peacock landed on my car and left a feather. But it's here now. Yes, it is. Yeah, hand warmers. So Verna put a link there to the hand warmers. Thank you. Yeah, and Verna saying wrap it in a pillowcase or a towel. Yeah. It's a feather. You crack me up, Don says. It is a feather. It is a feather. It's a big feather. Oh, you wondered about them. Yeah, they do get very hot. Yeah. All right.
Hello.
Hi. Yeah, it doesn't burn your you, and so they will be fine. Yeah. Oh, something happened then. Hope everything's okay. Oh, Wi-Fi just went down, so you can't watch TV. But that's so sad. But you're here with us. You're here with us. Eric says, "Let me know when you dad." You know, I'm good for dad jokes. Whenever the moment hits you, right? What is TV? Yeah, Steve. I did not have a television until Manuel moved in, and I mean, I watched stuff on the computer, but I didn't feel like I needed one. In fact, the quail room, when the television came in, I didn't want it in the living room because to me that's not, you have people over to talk, not to watch television. And so we had it in the other bedroom. And so I'm like, well, it needs a fancy name because it used to be the library. So I had, books in there, and that was my no media allowed room to just read and relax and meditate and do all that. And then he brought a television in. Giving me a smirk right now.
2 televisions.
2 televisions. Okay, well, not both at the same time. but he wanted one in there, and so I'm like, well, we're gonna call it something. We call it the media room. And then now that the brooder is in there too, sometimes it's a media room and sometimes it is the quail room. You got to name things fancy, guys, when you have a 2-bedroom house. Yep. Ed says, had to turn cellular on my phone. Well, I appreciate you doing that, Ed. Eric says, Morgan Gold has a cattle farm. How does he count his cattle? With a calculator. They had water when I started. Ed says 65-inch TV with Fire Stick. Only way to watch TV unless you have an 85-inch or bigger. Oh boy. Dove chocolate tastes so much better than their soap. True. I've not tried it though. Not tried the soap. No need for that. Eric and they will both use the same cream. Yeah, that's true, huh? That's true. All right, guys. So we already touched on part of what the topic of the day is. And I know it's a little bit early, but I figure we can go for it. So topic of the day, discussion topic of the day is what... Let me see if I can phrase it correctly. What things have you bought or been given or said you need this that you thought, I don't need that. I can, why would I need that? And that you rely on. So now you have these tools that either someone gave you or someone told you about, or you just picked up, or you picked up on a whim and said, oh, I'll try this. And it really, really works. I want to know what works for you in your homesteading area. So gardening, animals, fruit trees, whatever. These are the things I want to know. So for me, I never thought that I would be getting hand warmers. I run super hot. I don't get cold very easily, so there's no way I would buy hand warmers normally. However, for my animals, this is a backup for them. Another thing. Another event something and yeah, this is a ravioli strainer from the Dollar Tree. I use this to pick up eggs. I have it on a long stick. Tape it on. You can pick up eggs from the aviary without even bending over. You can also get peaches out of the shade sail over the pond with this. You can also get them off the roof of the chicken coop. You can also, I don't know, skim ravioli. So I actually have a bunch of these for different purposes in their own place. And I never thought that this would be the premier homesteading tool, but it is. You can also use this. I have something else, but I use a cat litter scoop to clean out the sandboxes for the quail. But I have used this when I misplaced the scoop. So this is good. These are wonderful. Sharpies. Oh my gosh, you have to have Sharpies. Yeah. So let's see what you guys say. Eric has a joke. I tried to take a picture of a wheat farm. It came out grainy. Erica says, I always watch lives on my phone. It's my internet device. Yeah. Yep. French plate, Verna says. So you like it. You've used it a lot since I did that video, huh? Yeah, French plates are wonderful. And if I didn't see the marinade video that I did, was it a couple weeks ago? Quail marinade, quail, rabbit, and chicken marinade. I show you how to use that in there. And it's an awesome tool. It's a very awesome tool. Dawn says, ha, I bought a walker with a seat just to keep for sitting on in the garden, weeding and planting. Now I'm stuck using one all the time. Maybe I shouldn't have bought it. That is a fantastic idea, though. A walker with a seat so you can just roll along. That is fantastic, Dawn. And hey, you were prepared. You were prepared, right? Verna says incubators. Can't live without them anymore. You have like 5 of them, don't you, Verna? Yeah. Eric says, I have a peach tree growing in my front driveway. Oh, this is not a joke. Awesome. Do you know what kind it is? If it's a like freestone or cling, or if it's a yellow one or a nectar one. Yeah, there's all sorts of stuff that you can do with peaches, and yeah, they are awesome. They are awesome. Erica says incubators for me too. You never thought when you start growing food how many incubators you would end up with? Oh, Andy Rabbit has another good one, a flashlight called Scorpion 2. I have a really bright flashlight as well that is it's LED. I don't know. LED doesn't go very far. This one does. I don't remember what it's called, but maybe it's like that. But yeah, a good flashlight. Here's another thing, if I can find it down here. Here we go. I have not done my review video on this. I need to. I have all the footage. I just haven't done it yet. This is a watch, and it's a flashlight. So you turn it on, and I'm not going to blind you, but turn it on, and it has several different functions. It can, it goes, there's bright, there's less bright, and then it goes to blinky, which I'm not going to, I don't want anybody to have a seizure. But it has several different functions. But I use this. I got it when I was checking the bunnies in the nest box at night. And if you raise bunnies and you check nest box at night, flashlight works, your phone light works. If you're filming and you want to check them with a light, you only have 2 hands. And I was like, I wish I could have a watch with a light on it. And I'm like, wait, does that exist? And it does. It does. I'll do a review on that at some point. You guys might have to remind me because it's been a while even. I was going to do it last year and I didn't. But still like it. All right. So let's see. Where are we? Guido says, yes, we have that strainer too. We use it every time we boil our quail eggs. Right. Another use, right? It's a skimmer. You go like that. So, when Aaron gets to building you guys' aviary, use a different one. Use a dedicated one. It might have some poop on it. But stick that on a stick and call it good, because then you don't even have to bend over, which is great. It's great. Verna says butterfly nets, yep, not only work for catching stray quail, but cooey as well. Yeah, so those of you who know, I have a butterfly net outside the aviaries, and that is for quail. And there's a trick to that. So you want the net to be big enough. you can use any of them. But to me, the best way is you want the net to be big enough to catch the quail and then just scoop it up and fold it over so that you don't like scoop it up and it flies out again. So yeah, for sure. Erica says, I was giving quail eggs and had to go get an incubator. Yeah, I did say things that someone gave you, right? Dawn says 18650 battery operated fans for when the power is out. They are awesome. Very cool. And you guys jumped again, so hang on. Bob says, I bought a wire strainer to clean sandboxes. That works. A milk machine. You must have a cow buster. I hope. Unless you're milking rabbits. Yeah, a milk machine. That I've never milked a cow, I don't think. If I did, it was little. But I can imagine that that's a lot of hard work and a lot of hand strength. It could be a goat too. Yeah. What do you have that you're milking? Truck 3 Warden says biggest thing was a new tractor, steam juicer, and chopper like Living Tradition uses. Can't remember the name. You're talking about the block chopper? I don't know what it's called, but the one like this. Yeah. I've seen that before. I've never used one. And steam juicer I've considered getting, but at this point I don't need anything more in my kitchen. Need to wait until I have more room, right? All the gadgets. Gidjo says paint scrapers for poop trays and metal barbecue pit scrapers for the rabbit cages. Awesome. Yes, scrapers. So for the rabbit cages, what I use is like I don't even remember the brand, but there's a mop that has a brush on it, a scrubby brush. And the scrubby brush always lasts longer than the mop heads. And I got several of them at one point because I was mopping the walls and the ceilings, cleaning before I painted the house and all of that because this was a smoker's house and it no longer smells like a smoker's house. So I was using trisodium phosphate. So I used one mop for that and one mop for the rinse, just to keep them separate. And then the one with the trisodium phosphate TSP, I threw that one, like the whole thing was just nasty. So, but I did keep the brush off of that. So that's what I use on the rabbits, and it seems to be stiff enough. Yeah, good tip. Base place. Who? Me? I need a couple more. Joy says a large syringe with a piece of aquarium tubing to add water to my incubators. Awesome idea. Eric says, oh, and quail egg is Vietnamese is okay. Now my McAfee wants to run. Okay, there we go. If it just went weird, that's because the security thing was running. Quail egg in Vietnamese is Trung Gut. Oh, Jung Gut. Okay. Good. Joy says, Verna, I have 4 incubators now. Oh boy. And Andy Rabbit's laughing at you, Dawn. You don't know why. Did I miss something? I must have missed something. Berta says, Joy, I have 5, but we'll be throwing the farm innovator away. It's the worst one. Is that the one from Tractor Supply? Yeah, I think it is. Thank you for turning me on to them, Don says. All right, Eric says, I don't know what kind of peach tree. I'm still waiting for peaches to grow. So is it like a pit grown, like someone spit out a pit and it's going to take 10 years? When we moved into where I grew up in Oregon, there was a tree and we didn't know what it was. And, my parents didn't know their fruit trees. And I, of course, didn't at that age. And we lived there for years and years. And there was always this tree and it was kind of nice and it lost its leaves in the winter and okay, whatever. Well, one year it had peaches on it. So now that you have peaches, the deer get the bottom third, and the jays get the top third, and my parents get the middle third. It's sharing the bounty, whether they want to or not. Verna says, I used to have a headlight for my head. Don't know what happened to it. Got to get another. They're not the same quality as they used to be, Verna. You're going to have to search for a good quality one. The headlamps that I've seen, like, kind of out and about, the light doesn't go very far. And I don't understand why people think that that's, like, oh, it's so bright, I can see. It's like, yeah, but look up. Can you see down the road? No. So, yeah, to get a good one, you're going to have to search. Aaron says, does putting all the extra males on the floor of the quail barn count as an aviary? If so, I have one. What did you do? Just like, you need to get out of here. Go live over there. Do they like pick up and clean up after the other guys underneath the cages? How funny. Sure. We can count that, Aaron. Dawn says, I used my bird net to catch a bat flying around in the bedroom. That is right. You and your bats, Dawn. Yeah. Verna's laughing at Aaron. Andy says, kids' tools, rakes, hose. I get metal ones from Tractor Supply and wooden ones from Dollar General. Do you use those for your animals mostly or for your garden? And Verna says, or goats. Yeah, to milk. If he has more than one goats. That's right. Steve says, I didn't buy but black soldier fly for treats and food for the quail and the compost. And they aren't as disgusting as fly larvae. Yep, black soldier flies are a good thing. They are good. And they're something that you can do composting like you do a worm farm, but they can eat meat. If you put meat in with your worms, it's going to stay there for a while. Yeah. Buster has 12, not one, but 12 Nubian milk goats. That is awesome. Then, yeah, you do want a milker. Verna says, speaking of Smoker's house, I need to go grab a cancer stick. Verna. Dawn says to Aaron, someone told me they have hatching time cages in the aviary, so I said my whole porch is an aviary then. My cages are in the porch, and I can sit there just like you two. Yeah, I think, I understand the design of having a brooder or cages inside an aviary. Like if you have specific breeders that if you're working on a color or you're working on something that's a project, having them in there would be good. Or if you have your grow outs in there and you want your breeders to be, free, like I would understand that, where you put them there and then the poop just falls into the aviary and you just treat it all as one. I get that in using a stacking function, and it has to be set up right to work well. But yeah. Verna says to Steve, I loved your videos on black soldier fly larvae. Yeah, that was really cool. That was really cool to see, Steve. Eric says, what kind of birds stick together? Velcro. We have crows here that they just love one set of trees in town, and they go there at night. All of them. It doesn't like your jokes, Eric? That's okay. Aaron says, I like to watch them. Yeah, in watching them, in an aviary environment, they have so much personality. I don't raise them in cages, so I don't know how much of that they exhibit in cages versus aviaries, but they have so much personality. Yeah. And Eric, you got Aaron to laugh. Oh, okay. So Verna says, well, I can call them coffin nails. Oh boy. Eric says, my wife says I have two faults, that I don't listen and something else. Yep. Uh-oh. Verna has some scuffling happening in the animal room, huh? All right. All right. So we went through some things that you thought you wouldn't ever need and you do need. Have you guys thought about things that people said that you were like, "Oh wow, that's a good idea"? Or can you guys think of anything that would have value like that would be used all the time, that you don't yet have, or that you could see someone else using? So that's the task, is to figure out what we need versus what we have, and figure that out. Um, yeah. Oh, I think it's pretty cool to go through the thought process, because like with this, I mean, I actually use this to move birds in the because my brooder is so big, it's too big. And I can reach the little ones and go scoot, 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 scoot. So have one in there for that as well. Yeah. Verna says raising quail in small spaces. Had a friend send me my first eggs, and it got her hooked. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. Um, so what is everybody's garden doing? Are we getting tomatoes yet? I know some people are. I have one that's starting to change color. One. I'll have my first tomato in, 3 years. Didn't have tomatoes last year, the year before. Um, Hoping that's doing well. But I also wanted to give you guys an update with Parmesan is doing well, and same update that was in the video this morning. But Parmesan is doing well. The buck rabbit, and Tortellini's babies are doing well. I don't think there is anything going on. I think literally we just had a coincidence of 2 rabbits dying within 2 weeks. But I still need to clean out the water system. It needs to stop being hot, is what needs to be, so I can get out and do it. So that will happen soon, and I expect that Parmesan will be back in his habitat soon. And the sisters will probably stay in the grow out for a while. And then if we keep them, which I'm kind of leaning towards keeping them as breeders for later, if we keep them, then they will be back in where Meatball and Tortellini were at some point. They can stay together for a while still. But that's the update there. Parmesan's bored. He used to look at everything, and now he's stuck inside. Um, Bob says tomato plants doing well in the greenhouse. Sue says our tomato plants died. No more green tomatoes for us. We are still eating a lot of okra. Awesome. I planted okra here. I tried. It does not grow well here. I don't know if it needs more humidity. That's my guess. But I mean, it fruited some, but it was never enough to do anything with, other than chop it up and put it in a stir fry or something. Yeah. Berta says my tomato plants are now starting to blossom, and my standard cucumbers are going crazy. Awesome. Verna, are you liking that green stock extender thing? What is it called? It's like a trellis that goes on a green stock. They're having a sale right now, or I think it's tomorrow only. They're having a sale for those. I do have green stock. Oh, this is the thing that was too long. Oh, there's an affiliate link in the description of this video. I'll try and put it here. It's too long. That's so silly. Okay. Anyway, there is a affiliate link in the description of this, and that will give you $10 off your first order of over some amount. But they do have a flash sale tomorrow, I believe, on the little trellis things that will extend. I think it's called extenders, actually. It'll extend out so that you can have vines on them, like cucumbers. Yeah. Andy Rabbit says, I have ripe tomatoes. I only planted cherry tomato types this year. I need to pick sometime. Yeah, they ripen a lot earlier than the other tomatoes. Yeah. Eric says, when you eat tomatoes, do you also eat the seeds? I heard the seeds will upset your stomach. I eat the seeds, I eat the skin. I don't find that to be true for me. I know there are some people that have conditions that they can't eat seeds in general, things with small seeds, because that gets stuck in, what is it? It gets stuck somewhere in the digestive process, and it can cause a lot of issues for some people. So I think if you try it and you don't have any issues, not for that issue, but stomach issues, yeah, I eat seeds. Um, where are we? Truck 3 says, I always try to weigh if a new thing is something or something I want to do, I need it. Gardening starting, the garden is starting to really produce. Yeah, so if you really need something or not, versus if it will like make your life easier and you don't necessarily need it. Yeah, I mean, I guess that most of the ways I use this is in that category. It just like makes my life easier. I don't actually need it. However, at $1.25 plus tax, I think at Dollar Tree, $1.25 tree, is that what we should call it now? It was worth it to me. So yeah, you do have to weigh the pros and cons of things and how much you specifically would need to use something. Yeah. Verna saying she eats seeds and all for tomatoes. Bob says, do quail drink a lot of water? My 5-gallon water bucket doesn't last very long. Yeah, quail drink quite a bit of water, and they need water at all times. So like if it goes empty and you give them more water, they're going to be thirsty right away. And in fact, if it doesn't go empty and you bring out the water and you fill it and you bring it back in, they're going to think that they're thirsty and do that again. Verna, how are you doing the small link? I want to know how you do that. But thank you for putting that there. Yeah. So yes, they do drink quite a bit of water. I have my water set up for it's a water that never runs out of water. So except in the brooder, the ones outside, basically you can look it up. There's full guide to animal water, I think is what I named it. And it's quite a long video, but it's very detailed. And for those people that need the details, I think it's very good. Basically what it is it's a float bucket. It's a float valve in a bucket that empties into a pipe that goes into the water cups. And then on the other side is where it fills. It's just to a faucet that is on all the time. So when the float valve, when the water level goes down, the float valve opens and then it fills in. And it works really, really well. And I never have to worry about the animals not having water. Every once in a while, I'll check it. I just tap it and where the birds tap it, I tap it there and make sure the water's coming out. But that I highly recommend. I highly, highly recommend that for areas that don't freeze and areas that do freeze in the non-freezing season, because that's going to save you so much time. Yeah, absolutely. Today only? Okay, well, you'd have to check out their website for Greenstock. It might be today only. I may have read yesterday's email today. that happens sometimes. And Sue says, it only hurts if they take root in your belly like watermelon seeds do. Oh, boy. And depends on how many quail you have, Bob. I mean, they do drink a lot of water, and I would say if your current waterer is not enough, I would, 1, look for leaks, and if that's not a thing, then 2, I would add more water somehow. So how I would do that solution right now, it's not freezing where you are. I think you do have winter, So at least when it's not winter, you can do an everlasting thing. If it doesn't freeze hard, then you could also put in, you might have to take and fill up the bucket instead of having a line that goes to it, or you can wrap it in heat tape, and then that should, except for in severe cases, that should keep that line warm. But you can also put an aquarium bubbler into the bucket that has the float, and that circulation, as long as it doesn't as long as you don't have like Alaska temperatures, that should keep it moving enough that it doesn't freeze. So that, hopefully that will help. Eric usually eats the seeds too. You're just asking because you're funny. Verna says, yes, I will put a video on it tomorrow. If I was you, Katrina, I would get 3 sets of them. Yeah, so you like them? That was my question, because you're the only person that I actually know. Like, I know people online, but actually know you. And I wanted to see how you like them. I am not planning on using my green stalks currently like that, so I'm not going to be buying them. But if I did, anyway, I wanted to let you guys know there was a sale apparently today, not tomorrow. And then also, if I did do that in the future, like if it would be worth it, then just wanted to know. So you like them, that's good. Sue says, I notice my water goes fast, but I think it's the heat and evaporation. I have water troughs. Yeah, so that's another thing, is the type of water that you have. I have the poultry cups with the little yellow nub that they hit, and there's no water in the cup except for when they hit the yellow plunger. And so they'll drink that and it will look like there's no water. And so for me, that reduces waste. It reduces chance of mosquitoes. It just is a really good way of doing that. The only reason why you probably wouldn't do that is if you couldn't. So when you put them together, and I have video on this too, but when you put them together, there's a gasket already on there, and that has to be, sometimes it's not where it should be all the way up, sometimes it's just part way, so you have to actually like push that on. And I think where people don't like it, they say, oh, it leaks. It's because that gasket isn't pushed on all the way, or there might be something in where the plunger is. So if that's the case, all you have to do is just, if here's a plunger, you just push the plunger up a few times and it will release whatever's in there and it'll be fine. And then as you should always do, you should always have extras of whatever you're using, in case something does actually need to be replaced. Yeah. Steve says, oh, I got it. Verna says, is today only. Yeah. Okay, the sale for green stock, the extenders. What happened? I got blurry? I don't know. Let me go turn on the light because it's getting dark. I keep forgetting to put on the light. Is that better? Sorry, guys. I'm sitting here in the dark with you. Hopefully that's better, Steve. Erica says, I'm just learning about cuy. I knew they were eaten in South America, but never thought of eating them myself. Verna got me started. Yeah, and you can have them outdoors. I mean, you can have them, you can pasture them too, right? Yeah, it's pretty cool. I've never had them. I've only known them as pets. I didn't have pets, but my friend did. That's why I always pause when I have to come up with a word. Because what I want to say is cupcake, because that was her name. Bob says, tomatoes may upset stomach if allergic to nightshade. Yeah, and nightshade is a pretty poisonous family. I mean, it has a lot of poisonous things in it. But peppers and eggplant are also a part of that. Yeah. And Verna put my link to the Greenstock affiliate link. Thank you. Oh, Aaron, that's the name of the thing with the seeds? Diverticulitis? Diverticulitis? And you have it. Yeah, that sucks. So that means like blackberries and raspberries and all that, you got to juice it, right? You can't have the seeds. Yeah, I know someone else that has that. So sorry you have to deal with that. Missing out. Hey, Psycho Ward's here. What's happening? Hey, Psycho Ward. That means Witch Doctor's here too, right? Hey, Witch Doctor's here too. Welcome, guys. Haven't seen you guys for a while. I hope you're doing good. And are you guys still in Nevada, or did you guys get to Tennessee yet? Oh, I gotta go up, guys. I'm typing too much. All right. Makes sense. Yeah. Everybody's saying hi. Dollar plus tree. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Verna. I will look at that link later. Thank you very, very much, because I was having problems there. Ed says, or Eric says, jokes. The awful moment when your wife says, "What do you think?" and you have not been listening for the last 10 minutes. Oh boy. Psycho Word says, Eric, I know what you mean. Psycho Word, your wife is on here. She can hear you. Diana says, I got one of the noodle strainer at a garage sale. Cheap. Awesome. Awesome. And do you use it for many and is things that you didn't know you needed for your homestead? And I offered up hand warmers, incubators, and brooders, and a ravioli skimmer for many, many uses. So anybody new that's coming on, that's your assignment. Chuck 3 says that joke reminds me of the man at the vet today who called my female dog, and when she just looked at him, and it was because she was a female and they never listened to males. I told him I didn't want people to be able to call my dog. Yep, there you go. There you go. Yeah, so Bob, you have hard freezes and lots of snow. Yeah, but you can use it in when you don't have freezes, and you guys have a big season where you don't have freezes, and you can do that automatic water. When you don't have freezes. Verna says yes, it helps to control the tomatoes, and the cucumbers love grabbing hold of them as they grow. That is so awesome to hear. We're talking about green stalking extenders. Oh, awesome! I bought. So I'm going to read Bob's comment, then I'm going to talk. Bob says, I have a thermocube that I plug in a submersible heater and a small recirculation pump. If temp gets to 41, it turns on both. Yeah, awesome. I do have a couple of those. I don't even remember why I got them. I don't remember why I got them because it's only ever gotten down to 22 here, and that's been at night. And within a couple hours of daylight, everything is melted in the lines, and so it's fine. Like I don't have issues with that. Okay, so maybe over the night they might get too cold to drink, but I think for the most part, that thermal mass of the bucket and in the line, I think it's fine for my climate right now. For a lot of people's climate, it's not. Yeah. Yeah. So a thermocube it's a thing that you plug into a socket, and then you plug something into that, and it turns on or off the thing you plug in, kind of like a timer, but instead of time being the limiting factor, it's temperature. So yeah, that's a great idea. And which doctor's laughing is like a word. Psycho Word says, morning dad joke. Where did Sally go when the bomb dropped? Where did she go? She went everywhere. Oh my gosh. Psycho Word, no. Friends asks his friend, where is your sister from? His answer is Alaska. The person replies, oh, never mind. I'll ask her myself. Alaska? Uh-oh. Verna's having cooey conversations. Hopefully everything's okay. Bob says, I use the red cups with yellow valve too and tap it to fill cups 3 times a day. Okay. Yeah, I don't have to tap it. They tap it themselves, but hopefully they're able to do that themselves. Dawn's going to bed. Time. Have a good night, everyone. Time to get off the internet here. Have a great night, Dawn. Thanks for coming. Tapping the gasket clears issues too. Yeah. Or tapping it clears gasket issues too. Yeah, for sure. And that's something that I do is you just take the plunger, like this is a plunger, you just go like that and it clears stuff. Yeah. And Andy Rabbit also uses those cups. Yeah. Witch Doctor. Dad jokes. Yep, Witch Doctor, you've been missing a bunch. Eric loves dad jokes. I like dad jokes too, so hey, there you go. Use a chicken run. Berna, I don't know why you're saying that. But I hope the Kuya are okay. Hey, PJ's is here. Hey, all. Welcome, PJ. And Witch Doctor says, love green stalks. Yeah. Yeah. So they have a sale. Apparently it ends today. It's for their extenders for like cucumbers and stuff. Yeah. PJ is going to be at QuailCon. I know that. Witch Doctor and Psycho Ward, they are going to be at QuailCon and they are going to be teaching us safety, how to be safe on your farm. So they will be there, and they are going to be awesome because they already are. Gidro's saying hi. Steve wants to know where the cookies are, PJ. What do you call indecisive B? A maybe. Cookies still not done. I hope they're not done yet, PJ. We don't want stale ones. You're awesome. About those cookies. Okay, Witch Doctor says, we've been busy packing, almost ready to roll out to Tennessee. We bought our house. Awesome. Awesome. So are you going to move before or after QuailCon? And congratulations, because that was a long time coming. Awesome, awesome. Steve is saying, can we get him a few more likes? We appear to be short, about 10 likes. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Maybe they haven't heard something they like yet, Steve. Thank you for the reminder. And PJ says, got my like in. Thanks for the reminder, Steve. Oh, Andy Rabbit was the slow one. Thanks, guys. Steve was saying, bring an umbrella. Yeah, it did rain last year at QuailCon. It did rain last year. However, hopefully it won't rain this year. It was all right. Everybody was in a good mood, even though it rained and we all got wet, and it was fine. So good company helps with that, for sure. Eric says, I like telling dad jokes, but I don't have any kids. I guess that makes me a fa pa. Yeah, you have to say it that way, right? Which also says, I love the rain. Well, you are moving from the right place then. Miss Nevada. Verna says, I have to process all the mails that I am not saving tonight. That will quiet the place down. Absolutely. Absolutely. Everybody's complaining about the rains except for us. Yeah, I don't mind rain. It's just kind of nice to not have to be like, jacketed up. Yeah. For Cooey, you can use those chicken tractors. Oh, okay. Okay. That's what you're saying as far as pastry. That's not a word. Maybe it is. What does it mean? Pastured poultry, which should be called pastry. Somebody make a company name that and have pastured chickens. Okay, there you go. But you can do that with Cooey. That is good. Bob's got to run. Have a nice evening. Have a good evening, Bob. Thank you for coming. Second word says, I always say mucho to my Spanish friends. It means a lot to them. Oh my gosh. Cycle Ward, you're giving Eric a run for his money. Everybody saying good night. Where it says, oh, it wasn't Aaron and Bob. It was Matt and Bob, both from New Mexico. Oh, so are you just giving Bob something now? Okay. Steve says no rain at QuailCon, just rain in Tennessee and Mississippi. All right, they can keep that. They can keep that. Andy Rabbit says, hey, I was running late tonight. I guess I was just excited to get in the chats. I bypassed the thumbs up. It's all right. It's all right. We got it. Berta says you move the cooey tractor daily as those cooey love grass of any type. Berta, can they be run only on grass, or do they need other things as well? Like what's their dietary needs? Is it kind of similar to rabbits where you might need a little supplement? I think you said that they eat rabbit food, right? Or similar to rabbit food. Yeah, I would love to pasture rabbits, and I think that would be a really great way to raise them. You have to probably have the breeders inside or in in an area, and then they can grow up pastured, and I think that would be great. Yeah, it'd save you on feed. Absolutely. All right, so what else can you pasture? Let's talk about that. So we've talked about pastured poultry, chickens and quail and rabbits and cooey. What else can you pasture that you can raise in kind of this system where you move them every day? I mean, you can raise sheep and goats. I don't know if goats do pasture, but and cows as well. So you can do a lot of things. I know there are some geese that their diets are almost entirely grass. If Jasmine was here, she would be able to tell you what the name of that one is. That's almost entirely. Yeah. Verna says, yes, you can run them on grass, but you can give them things that have vitamin C as they can't produce their own. I'm giving them citrus every so often. Okay. Miner's lettuce. So miner's lettuce has lots of vitamin C. Some of the oxalic, there's a lot of plants that have oxalic acid in them. So that would be, they would be high in vitamin C, but I think they have other potential issues if it's too much. But yeah, these are things that you could seed a pasture with if you're specifically growing, some species. Yeah. Erica says, I don't buy food for the cooey. I cut it from the yard and give them veggie scraps. Yep. And PJ's pushing the mini zebu. Mini zebus. You can. And Verna's saying to Erica, I don't have a yard. Yep. You need to find someone with a yard and start growing stuff over there. Andy says, I give my cooey bell peppers to get the vitamin C. Does bell peppers have vitamin C? Bell peppers are not my friend. So I don't get vitamin C from them at all. Yeah, I know there's a lot of plants that have vitamin C, like vegetation as well. Oh, Verna's saying which foods are rich in vitamin C. Good sources include citrus fruit, such as oranges and orange juice, peppers, strawberries, black currants, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, and potatoes. Interesting. Yeah, Erica says I'm fortunate to have the place I do. Yeah, and especially since you guys sound like you cleaned up the place quite a bit and you're ready to rock and roll now, right? Almost. Buster says I think Verna would go wild if she had a yard. Absolutely. And you can do so much. I mean, she's already stacking so much in her apartment and in her garden space at the apartment. And you got that right, Buster. She says, I mean, it's the same with me. Like I have so much going on here, and it is a tiny lot. It's 7,000 square foot lot. It's not a big space, but I grow so much. And I can grow so much more here if I wanted to, if I change up the design or added some things. You can grow so much in a small space. And if you're doing that right, you think about it and plan about it. That's a weird way to say it. But there's a lot of things that I know now that I didn't know when I designed like where the trees were and stuff like that. And it's so awesome when you're able to look at it now. Like I'm able to look at it now and go, okay, this is what I would do differently. This would work better in a different way. Because I've had some of those experiences and learn from them. And where I am, I'm on clay soil, so there's some specific things for clay soil that are going to be different for if you're on loam, which are going to be different for if you're on sand, right? I mean, there's a different things you would do for different soil types even. So yeah, and if you're learning that, you can do a lot with big space. I want a big space. Verna's saying, on days you get tired, Katrina, you can cut and hang herbs for drying. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's been a little hot for that. I tried that last year. I was like, oh, I'm gonna hang spearmint. And I cut a whole bunch of spearmint and I hung it from the trees actually, because I've done that in the past and it works great because it's a shaded area. And it's out of the way, I hung it in the fruit trees. But then it got spiked up to 110 and all that, and they crispified, so it was not worth it. But yeah, if you are drying herbs, 95 is ideal, or 95 or less is ideal temperature for drying herbs. If it's like over 100, depending on how much over 100, like last year, it just crispified everything. So yeah, but there's lots of things you can do. I even had I had a vision of doing, which is not going to happen, but I had a vision of doing my garage roof, which you guys have seen in recent videos, is slanted. And I had a vision of doing a green roof. But when I looked into it, I would have to get like a whole new roof and structural support type stuff. So it's like, well, that's not happening there, but I think it would be a good thing. Which doctor says, are you having a heat wave like us? We're staying under 100 most days, and it's supposed to be cooling off tomorrow. So it got up to 94 or 95 today. And yeah, but we're not as hot as last year, so that's good. Hang them in your doorways. I would have to get hooks to hang them from, or something somehow to hang them inside. It gets warm inside though, because I don't have wall insulation or air conditioning, so it does get warm inside. Probably not 100 degrees. Hopefully not 100 degrees. It did when it was last year. It was terrible. Yeah. Which doctor says we've been 106 to 108. Yeah, I don't need those temperatures. You can keep them. Yeah. Yeah, herbs are interesting. I did freeze dry basil, and that turned out really good. The flavor. So basil is one of those herbs that does not dehydrate well, does not dry well. Using the dehydrator or using air, like it just doesn't turn out well. But freeze drying it does preserve the flavor. So that was something I wanted to try and see how it works. I have dried basil in the past, and it's just not as flavorful. And then what happens is I end up not using it because it's not flavorful. So what I've been doing is, turn it into pesto instead. But then you have all that oil, and you have to have room in the freezer. I think I'm probably going to do another batch of pesto here soon. Probably a smaller batch, but yeah. Berta says if you have a fan circulating the air, it would be better for the drying herbs. Yep. And Witch Doctor says, Verna, have you freeze dried any herbs yet? Yeah, I recommend freeze drying herbs after my experience with the basil. There's a lot of the herbs, they're going to be just fine to dry or dehydrate, and I mean that's how most of the world does it, right? But I think you're going to preserve a lot more flavor with the freeze dryer, especially those herbs that lose flavor when you dehydrate them or dry them. It does great on lemon balm too. Yeah. Yeah. So that's great. That's great. Um, yeah, I would think that so cilantro is also something that doesn't really dry well. I haven't used it yet. I've used a freeze dryer yet for that, but I would imagine that that would also do well. And cilantro is always great because like it grows and then it's not when you need it for salsa and then it seeds and then it's coriander, right? If you guys didn't know if you guys realize that cilantro turns into coriander when it has seeds. It's two spices in one. Um, yeah, but it always seems like that spice or that herb is never it never seems to be growing at the same time as when my tomatoes are ripening. So that's like the challenge that I have with that. Berta says, when I pick the pears in another week, I'll be freeze drying them as well as some leaves from the trees. Pear leaves? How do you use pear leaves? Um, I like coriander but hate cilantro, Berta says. Does it taste like soap to you? So there's an alternate that I might be wrong. There's a Vietnamese coriander, and it has leaves that are like long and narrow, and it's more of a prostrate um, growing plant. It doesn't really grow upright. And I had that until my water system last year, stopped working when I was gone, and that was really good. I don't get the soap taste though, so I don't know if that one did or not. Yeah. Um, tea. Oh, okay. The pear leaves? Interesting. Ed says, well, this is great internet still down and saying should be fixed by 6 a.m. Wife star works at 4 a.m. from home. Hope everyone is having a better night. Oh, Ed, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Hopefully her work will understand. They should understand. She's gonna have to drive to town and go to Starbucks or something. Use their internet there. Yeah. Um, like lemon joy. I don't know what that means. Yeah, yeah, Ed, I'm sorry about that. I'm hoping that they get it fixed sooner because if your wife is working, that she needs it, right? I mean, I also work from home most of the time, and um, usually the internet is fine. Every once in a while, I'll be typing away, blah 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 blah, and then I go to check something on the internet, and I see, oh, it's down. Why is it down? I don't know, because Spectrum. All right, Verna's saying, because I have pears. Verna's saying, what are the benefits of pear leaves? Antimicrobial effect of pear leaves, beneficial effect on gastrointestinal flora, and kills germs that promote bladder and kidney inflammation. Interesting. Interesting. And Ed, which doctor wants to know if you're having a storm? Verna says, thanks to tannins in pears, they are great for treating stomach and intestinal diseases. Interesting. The tannins must be a lot smaller amount than like oak, I'm guessing. Yeah. I wish we were having a storm. Oh, Ed. So it's for no reason. Probably somebody like hit a pole or something. It's usually what happens when the internet goes down or when power goes down without a storm. Some user error, operator error of something. Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. All right. Well, we're slowing down, guys. You guys want to talk about anything else? Um, I do have 15 females and 3 males now in the aviary, and so they are doing good. We processed the rest of them. This next batch that's going into the incubator soon, I was going to do it already, and I haven't. That batch will be replacing the males in that aviary, so that will be good. They will be more productive. They will be more reproductive. Yeah. So we had a small storm today. Yeah, we were all sun here. Second word says in Vegas, when a pole goes down, it means somebody had a good time at the club. Oh boy. And Witch Doctor says when our internet goes down, it's usually a drunk driver hitting a power box. Yep. Yep. Peach leaves are good too. Man. I know that magnolia leaves are used in the aquatic field for like fish and stuff because it does something with the pH of the water. I don't know which way it goes. I just know that that's something that it's used for. It's these little things that I put in my memory. Like if you ever move somewhere with this kind of tree, don't just immediately, cut it down and replace it with food because it might have a use. Yeah. Truck 3 says, I have some dry rose petals. Are they good for anything other than smelling good? I think so. And we'll let Verna answer. Rose petals are used to eat. They're used for making rose water, but I don't know how it is used medicinally. I'm sure it is used. It is one of the ingredients to make rose water is one of the ingredients in oh geez, where are those little sweets? You know where it has powdered sugar on the outside? Anyway, they're in that. That's a traditional thing to use. Berta says, what are peach leaves good for? Peach leaves information and facts. Also used to make teas, wine, and prosecco. Is that a wine? I don't know what that is. In addition to desserts and drinks, peach leaves can be boiled or dried and crushed and used in marmalade, salad dressings, and sauces to flavor fish and chicken. Peach leaves pair well with honey, sugar, rose water, bay leaves, chicken, and salmon. Interesting. I don't know that I need to try that right now. Yeah, PJ says I made rose simple syrup to put in my coffee. Yeah, so it's basically rose water with sugar, right? Where it says rose petals are great for teas. Rose water takes a hell of a lot of petals to make a small amount of quality water or oil. Yeah, it is one of these things that they pack it in. Like how it's made is they pack it in a bottle and put, I think, warm water. I think it is done in warm water, isn't it? I don't think you cook it. I've seen videos on this. I don't know. But yeah, try. Yeah. And AJ, we're talking about homesteading here, but thank you for asking. Erica says, growing up, my mom would make syrup from roses and white clover. I have heard of white clover. So you can also make it from elderberry. You can make elderberry syrup. And that's with either the elderberries or the flowers. So the flowers, elderflower syrup is something that is I mean, you see it on shelves all the time, and it has some good properties as well. But yeah, there's a lot of those things. I don't know what it would be, good for, but it's good for eating. Yeah. Made some rose hip jelly last year. PJ says, I've never made rose hip jelly, but I have eaten the rose hips and from the wild roses. And you really have to get them when they are ripe for them to be tasty. If they're not ripe for eating, if you're cooking, you're going to make it into a juice basically. But for eating, if you pick them too early, then they can be really dry, I guess. There's a different word for it, but yeah, it's better if they're actually ripe. Red clover is better for you, has more antioxidants. Okay. And rose hips is great in teas too. Yeah, rose hips is something that's high in vitamin C. So that is something that's good. And people use it. You can dehydrate it and put it into teas. I mean, that's a pretty popular thing to do. Andy Rabbit says, I only have 3 clusters of elderberries, but I noticed yesterday one is starting to turn dark. Awesome. Awesome. Only 3? What happened to the rest? Or is this a new tree or bush? Yeah, elderberries are amazing. They're absolutely amazing. And as long as it isn't red, that's the thing. You don't want to collect from the red one. But if it's a blue elderberry or black elderberry, you should be good. But definitely make sure you know you're IDing things correctly. But they are awesome. PJ says, bitter if picked too early. Yeah, so the rose hips, it's not only the bitterness, it's like almost astringent. Like it's like on the edge of astringent, like that takes your water out of your mouth. Yeah. Erica says white clover was what we had growing in the yard. We use the syrup in place of honey. That is a good idea. Verna says too early and rose hips are like eating the choke of artichokes. The heart? I don't know what the choke is. The artichoke. But yeah. Do you have to cook elderberry? Witch doctor says. So elderberry, do you have to cook it? It depends what it is. So there are 2 main types of elderberry. One of them is over in Europe, and the other one is in the Americas, the United States. And the one over in Europe has a much higher toxin level. So those it's a toxin that is present in the seed, which you're not going to de-seed elderberries. If you're going to de-seed elderberries, you're making jelly or juice. You're not going to actually take the seeds out. They're tiny. And the ones over in Europe, you should heat treat. So what heat treat means, you guys are going to have to look up for yourself for that variety. Some people, for the ones here, some people have issues with elderberry. They might be sensitive to it if it's raw. And some people don't. So that is something that is in the seed. There are different types of elderberry in the United States as well. So and that toxicity level, it's not going to kill you. So let's just say that right up front. It's not going to kill you. It's going to, if it is too much, it's just going to make you feel yucky and you'll be sick. But it's not going to be like, oh, I did that and then I died, but it does have an effect. There's different varieties and I'm not just talking about cultivars. I'm talking about like areas in the United States that have them. There's different areas that have a higher level and a lower level. So the ones here in California that I have come across, I don't have ill effects. If I eat them, I don't have any ill effects. So they are fine for me. Whether they're fine for other people, I don't know. I have destemmed them and put them in the freezer and use them for things. And I've used them frozen, like on yogurt. And I've also used them to make other things like syrups or juices or jellies. So that answer depends on where you are. There's some great resources out there, especially in the Midwest. I don't remember the name of it, but there's a group of people who are researching elderberries, and they're trying to figure out all this stuff for like growability. That's a word I just made up. And there's 2 other types of other categories of elderberry. One is a tree and one is a bush. And here in the United States, we have both types. There's some that are trees and there's some that are bush form. And there's some species like the one that we have here that sometimes it's a tree, sometimes it's a bush. It's just however that one decided to grow. But over in Europe, they are always a tree, and the flowers and then the clusters, they flower kind of constantly. And so people actually have to go up in the tree and cut these bunches of berries down a lot. The ones we have here, they usually ripen all about in the same time. So you have more of a harvestable crop versus a pick it kind of every couple, every week or whatever. So there's different types of growing. There's different types for like harvestability, ease of harvest, and there's different types as far as need for heat treatment. So hopefully that was enough information that you can look up stuff. But those are the things you're looking at. Like if you're looking to plant a variety, think, where is this coming from? Where is it native to? How toxic are the seeds? And then, like, do I have to heat treat? Do I don't? If I'm going to be collecting it, am I going to be collecting it all at once, or am I going to be collecting it, throughout a summer? Those are the things you need to think about if you're going to actually find a variety to plant. I have not planted it because it's native here, and so I just collect it, and I actually haven't collected in a couple of years, but I still have juice though, so it's okay. Yeah, I hope that was enough information. Let me know if there's something else. Ed says, I like my oxygens. I don't know what that means, but keep breathing. Verna says, strawberries are not the only thing to harvest from the strawberry plants. The leaves are good for tea as well. Yep, you can eat the leaves. You can eat the tops. In fact, like people always bite the tops off or core it off. You can eat that. That's nothing wrong with that at all. Just extra greens. PJ says, I made some corn cob jelly yesterday. I have heard about this, but I have not done it. I also don't eat that much corn, so that might be why. Although I think I do have corn cobs in the freezer still. I was saving them to make, I think, corn cob syrup. Who knows if that will actually happen. Verna says, also, if you know where wild grapes grow and you don't get a chance to get the grapes, grab some leaves, use them like cabbage. Yeah, so they also are used, you can use them in pickling. It's supposed to keep things crisp. I don't know what the current science is on that, so I might want to double check that if you're going to do that. But yeah. Eric says, what is your favorite citrus fruit? My favorite is the clementines. That's a good question. I like a true Meyer lemon, not the improved one. So if you go to the nursery, you're always going to see improved Meyer lemon. I have two neighbors that have really, really old trees that I believe, are the original Meyer lemon, which Meyer lemon is a cross between some sort of lemon, which is the same thing. It's just a different name. They just rebranded it. It is a cross, and that is the best lemon ever. And you don't eat it. It's not something to eat, but it makes the best desserts and it makes the best lemonade. So I would say, as far as lemon goes, it's the true Meyer lemon. And then there are just so many other citrus fruits that are just amazing. I went to a tasting for the California Rare Fruit Growers, which, if you're in California, sign up for California Rare Fruit Growers. Arizona also has a chapter. I believe Texas also has a chapter. And sign up for that, because there's these events and you get to go taste fruit. And like, there was, I don't know, 60 different types. And there's these varieties that are just, you never hear of, Another one that was really good, I was on a job site several years ago now, and there was a guy at this house, and there was tons, like this house was like over 100 years old, and they had all sorts of fruit trees all the way around it. And the guy was on there's some medicines that won't let you have grapefruits, and he was on that. And so he asked me if I wanted some grapefruits. And as a general rule, I find grapefruits to be some of them are good, but most of them are from the store. But he gave me shopping bags of these grapefruits that were kind of small, and they were yellowish on the outside. They weren't that like ruby red grapefruit or anything. And those were the best tasting grapefruits. They had the tart and the sweet were perfectly balanced. So I would say those, and I don't have a name for them, and I wish I still had them. So yeah, However, this is something that's going to blow your mind here. So those are good in the typical citrus. I don't have a name variety for that one, but I have a name variety for the Meyer lemon, the original. There is another citrus fruit, which I just forgot the name of. Cool. There it is. Okay. Sapote. Sapote is a citrus. And I'm going to attempt to spell that for you. That is a fruit name, and it is actually a citrus. It does not look like a citrus. If you look at the seeds are pretty big, but they definitely look like citrus seeds. So that is in the same family as, it is a citrus. And those are super, super good. There's white sapotes, but there's this one, again, on a job site. They had white sapote, but then they also had this one that was orange on the outside. I don't remember what color it was on the inside, if it was white or orange. The white sapote is green on the outside and white on the inside. But that one that was orange, I've never been able to find what variety it was. I found out someone who did actually grow some from that location of the white sapote tree and didn't even know about the other one. I'm like, because I figured he might have it or at least know the variety. But those are really good. If you haven't had sapote, try them if you're able to get to them. Probably not going to see them in the store very often or at all. Yeah, good question. Erica loves grape leaves. And Berna says kumquats. There are lots of different kinds of kumquats, but kumquats are good. Andy Rabbit says, I ate one berry yesterday just to try it. One elderberry. How was it? So the other thing about elderberry is each individual, unless you are ordering a variety, if you are ordering a variety, every stick that you get from that variety, because it will likely be a stick, not a plant, every stick from that variety will have come from the same DNA. So there's a mother plant, there's 10 mother plants that came from all the same mother plant. And they're just taking cuttings and giving you that. And that is, that. If you are wild foraging, every single tree for elderberries tastes different. So my recommendation is before you, and it is tart, it does have a different taste, but before you harvest a whole wild tree, taste it. I would say even if it's the kind that has that you need to heat treat, chew it in your mouth, spit it out the seeds, and make sure you have tasted it to make sure that you do want that tree. And so that's something to pay attention to, is that they are individual flavors for each tree. And that's how you get varieties. So if you want to establish that as a variety, then you just you cut a branch and you plant it, and there you go. And they're easy to start. Andy Rabbit says, oh, you already did that. Eric says, I also like pomelos. Pomelos are also good. There's lots of different varieties of pomelo too. Like there's lots of different varieties of clementine, like tons of varieties. Ed says, Eric, only if they taste good. Get too many that are junk. Yeah, that's if you're getting it from a grocery store, then it's probably going to be junk. If you're getting it from a tree, at someone's house, then it's probably going to be good. Andy Rabbit says, I have a clementine tree. It has quite a few little oranges starting on it. Yeah, mine does too. And my clementine always does really well. It took a year off this year. I only had a few, but that's okay. It's been a good producer for a long time. And Andy, Vernon wants to know how your lemon tree is doing. And Andy says it's starting to come out of the shock pretty well now, putting out new leaves and in flower again with one little lemon. Awesome. Yeah, the rains that we got really kicked back these trees. In fact, you guys saw in the video this morning that I put out, my Bear's Lime, which had died with all the winter rains, is coming back from the roots. But what that means, it's a citrus, it's a named variety. That means it was grafted. That's what that means. But the root stock is what's growing. So I don't know. The lime never gave me limes. It's many years old. It never grew and never gave me limes. So maybe this will turn into something yummy. Yeah. Let's see. Ed says only 40 more eggs to fill. Ed, do you need more eggs? You need more, do? Ed's craft skills are awesome. Yeah, Verna, I'm with you. I do not like blood oranges. Yeah, blood oranges. My neighbor has a tree, and I've tried to like it, and it's not for me either. Now, Cara oranges are very good. I do have a tree of that, and it gives fruit finally, but it doesn't give very much, but it's good quality fruit is Cara. In fact, I have a couple, Eric, if you're interested, I have a couple of taste comparison videos on my citrus from my yard, if you're interested in watching those. Ed says, I love eating lemons. My mouth is watering just talking about it. Ed, I used to eat a lot of lemons and limes when I was little. Like they would have it with water or something. And I eat it, but it's really bad for your teeth to do that. Where it says, I think those were palmettos? I don't know. Andy Rabbit says, I have a Kefir lime tree and a Persian lime as also. I don't know Persian lime. I know Kefir. Yeah. I think you spelled it right. I know what you're talking about. Verna says, the sapote shown here is called mammy sapote. That's it tastes like sweet potato pie. Yeah, that one is not... I've had it only from the store, that one that you're talking about, and that is not tasty at all to me, at least the one from the store. The white sapote is good, and the one that I don't know the name of is really good. To me, again, I've only had the mammy sapote from the store, and it's very bland. But yeah, there's lots of different kinds of sapote. Andy Rabbit says the elderberry was good, a little tart, but good. And Andy, that will, if you're cooking it, that tartness, it'll be there, but it will soften with the heat. And she also says the little oranges and lemon are so darn cute when they start. Yes, they're like little tiny nuggets, right? Eric says my absolute favorite fruit that doesn't grow in California but common in Vietnam is called sapadilla. It's tasted similarly to cinnamon. I have heard of this, and I've not had it, but I have heard of this. Yeah. And if you Eric, because you're in California, if you join the California Rare Fruit Growers, they likely have tastings where you are. Because I can't remember now what the other, because I'm not a member of the one down there, I'm a member of several of them up here. But they have tastings, and people bring whatever's in their yard too, so you get some pretty cool stuff. I brought some pineapple guavas one time. We had a pineapple guava tasting, and there was tons of different flavors. And it's so funny because mine are 2 trees that I got from a nursery that was just like ornamental trees, because I didn't know there were varieties at that point. I should have, but I didn't. And up against a lot of the named varieties, one of them was a lot of people's favorite. And it's funny because they're different. They came from the same nursery, but their tastes are different for sure. Yeah. Erica says, I've got to get up early for work tomorrow, so I'm going to get to bed. Good night, everyone. I'll see you later. Thank you for coming, Erica. Eric says, also in Vietnam, it's common to eat fruit with chili salt, different from regular salt. I think that's a common Mexican thing too. Yeah, people saying good night. Andy Rabbit says, Katrina, what 2 cherry trees would you pick? If I had to cut the big oak tree, I want to plant 2 and 1 something else tree, apple or peach. So Andy, Something you want to pay attention to is what your chill hours are. I think where you are, you'll be absolutely fine planting whatever you are planting. I will give you 3 things. Rainier cherry is wonderful. I like those a lot. They are a different flavor than a like Bing is usually what's in the store, and that's fine. It's a good cherry. It's there, but Rainier cherry is one, and then one that if you can find it, there's one that is like it's a thicker cherry, like it's beefy and it's really dark and it's super super good, and it's called Black Republican. So those are the 2 that I would do. And then if you are looking at copying like maraschino cherries, if you ever want to make maraschino cherries, what they use in the United States for that is Queen Anne. It used to be so in other places they use a different kind of cherry, but that kind of cherry doesn't grow in the United States, I guess. And they use Queen Anne, and I looked that up on the FDA website. So that's something also to know, is that if you are looking for a particular, like, oh, I really want to recreate this. Well, what is this, right? So you want to, like, I mean, what I looked up is FDA maraschino cherry, and it has a whole history that it gives you what it was used, how it came to be. People in the United States use this because of this. Like, it has a whole history on there about maraschino cherries. But then it tells you like what is used in the U.S. to produce the U.S. ones. So that's a good resource for you if you think about, oh, I really like this particular thing. The FDA regulates tons of things, but they are also a good resource to figure out what those things are. So yeah. So those would be my 2 choices. Plus, if you wanted to do maraschino cherries, I would do a Queen Anne, Royal Anne. You're gonna have to look up on the FDA website because I'm not sure. It's something Anne, Royal Anne or Queen Anne. Well, you'll have to look it up. Yeah, and then another tree. Like, just think about what you want to eat and go from there. If you do an apple tree, you could even do a multi-graft apple. If you do a peach tree, you can multi-graft that with peaches and plums, and you can even do, I guess, some cherries. You can do apricot too, but I don't recommend putting apricots on the same tree because they will take over the world. But that's what I would do. Yeah. Peach or pear, Andy? Yeah, pear maybe, because peaches are easy to get, but pear, like homegrown pear, yeah. And then if you're looking at pear or peaches or whatever, you need to look at what are the disease issues in your area. So if fire blight is something in your area, maybe pick a variety of pear that doesn't tend to get fire blight. Or if peach leaf curl is something that's popular in your area, it is here, you can get a peach leaf curl resistant variety. So start thinking about those things as well. Yeah. Poor hubby doesn't like pear. Well, it can be all yours then. What's wrong with him? No, I'm kidding. PJ says 69 packages of cookies made, 2 per package. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. Andy Rabbit says, I want a Rainier cherry. Yeah, they are awesome. And they're earlier than my other varieties, at least. Just by like maybe a week. Yeah. Eric says, if I have a farm in California, I totally would grow sapodilla and dragon fruit. So dragon fruit I have here, you have to protect it from frost, and I have not done that well. And they are heavy feeders. So you can look at what I've done and do it better. I did have 2 fruits off of one, but they were pollinated when I got the plant, and they were very good. And then I've had only I think 3 flowers since then, and I planted them years ago. So I have not been fertilizing them as well as I should have. And I think what I need to do is I need to take some cuttings of those and pot them up. I do have some other varieties which are named, but now I don't remember which one's which. I know one of them. I have yellow dragon fruit. One of them's cotton candy, and the other one is something else. But those are named varieties, which doesn't matter now because I don't remember which one's which, except for the yellow one has a particular look to it. But yeah, dragon fruits are awesome. Something else you could grow is what's it called? Something apple. It's a cactus. It's upright cactus. Anyway, another cactus fruit. Maybe a Bing tree, Andy says. Yeah, so another thing to pay attention to with cherries is whether or not it needs a pollinator. So, and what that pollinator might be. So, and you don't have to have a whole tree of that pollinator. You can graft on a branch. So like black Tatarian is one that is a well-known pollinator for a lot of these things. And so if you have one branch of that, then that should be enough, to pollinate. And then some cherry trees are self-fertile and some are not. So that's something just to pay attention to. Yeah. Green apples. Yeah, there are tons of apples too. So if you want apples, go to a tasting. I don't know what's around you specifically, but it might be worth it to go to a tasting because there's tons of varieties out there. And depending on what you're looking for, yeah, you can get your Granny Smith and whatever, but like I have one branch on here that looks like they have the first apples. They're not ripe yet, but it's Belle de Boscop, and who's ever heard of that, right? Yeah. But they're good. I tasted them before I asked the guy for a twig. Verna says you have to be careful with apples, Andy, because of the bugs full of worms. And again, that matters where you are and what your pest pressure is. And then also you can put up traps for that if you put them up early enough. Yeah. Andy Rabbit says, I love pears, but the hubby doesn't. Well, does he have to love every tree? Come on. We can have a tree for you. I have a plan. They will be planted close to the power lines. The city will keep the top trims for me. I ain't getting any younger, so free help. Oh boy. Oh boy. You didn't think of that. I don't know what you didn't think of, but glad to help. Andy Rabbit says, Honeycrisps, Jonathan, Granny Smith apples are my favorite. Yeah, and there's varieties that are like those that are different, and like again, the California Rare Fruit Growers. I went to a tasting; they had 77 different varieties of apple. Like, can you name 77 different varieties of apple? It's so good, so good. The cherry trees are mine. The other tree is for him. Okay, well then it's not going to be a pear. Yeah. 12 watching, 28 likes. Thank you, Verna. I see 27, but that's okay. Thank you. Yeah, choosing your fruit tree it can be simple, and it can be as simple as you want, and it can be as difficult as you want, or it can be as least time consuming as you want, or most time consuming that you want. So the things that you want to look for are, is your zone right? So you can just look it up. Hey, we learned how to do that. What was that? A few weeks ago. Type your zip code in and say USDA planting zone for zip code blah blah blah, and then you know your zip code. You can say USDA planting zone for Bing cherry. You can also look up your chill hours that way too. Chill hours for zip code whatever. Now, where I am here, the limitation is having enough chill hours. So on warm winters, cherries don't do their thing. In fact, some cherry people got out of cherries in this area. And this area used to be really, really big in cherries. But they got out of cherries because it's not worth picking. It's not worth the cost of picking. Yeah. So that, and then any diseases or pest pressure, and you can ask people in your area. You can ask, you can ask your state your state offices, you can ask that. I mean, yeah, those are the things to consider. And then when you plant, know about their water, water needs. So if it's on a rootstock, so that's the other thing, is that if you plant it out and you get it from the right places, they can put it on a rootstock that is good for your soil. And that'll be better, because if you plan for your soil type, then your tree is more likely to do well. So you can, like I said, you can go to Home Depot and pick up some trees, or you can call a nursery that specializes in trees and say, hey, here's my situation, and they'll help you. They'll help you out for sure. Figure out what you need. Andy Rabbit says a Rainier cherry is a given. They're my favorite cherry. Yeah, mine too. Mine too. Verna has 2 pear trees that I have permission to harvest. That is so awesome. So awesome. And pears are ready when you can take the fruit, put it up to 90 degrees, and it comes off. You should never be pulling off those. And they're going to be, usually most pears, they're going to be hard at that point. But they're ripe if you can take it from the bottom and just pull it up 90 degrees and they come off. Andy Rett says, I'm waiting for the guy from the Wildlife Center to come tell me his opinion on the oak tree, if it's dead or can be saved. Okay. Andy Rabbit's going to come over to Verna's house for some pears, I think. Yeah. Yeah. So, all right, guys, it is after 8. I didn't even realize how long after 8 it was, but we went through quite a bit of topics. Always good to talk about lots of things. That's what I like about these chats. But I think now that we got Andy Rabbit figured out with her cherry trees at least, and a set of instructions on how to find the other one. Anybody else have any burning topics that need to be discussed before we say goodnight? Ed says, had a strange one the other day, Granny Smith from the store, that looked like a bruise in the center of the apple and a sphere around, 1 inch around, tossed it. Yeah, that is likely because a bug got in there. I've seen that. Yeah. Yep. Tell the store. Buster says, thanks for the live. Witch Doctor says, good night, everyone. Andy Rabbit says, I'll be close enough next month to go to Verna. But will the pears be ready? Oh, boy. All right, guys. Well, thanks for staying up with me and chatting. And Verna says, yepers. And I do enjoy these chats. So that's good. Oh, Steve says we'll steal all her pears, but she thinks we're helping. Oh, boy. Are you going to pick them next week? They're going to be ripe already. Wow. Mine aren't ripe yet. I should probably check and make sure, but mine aren't ripe yet. I love pears in any form. I haven't had them freeze dried, but I like pears. Pear is my favorite Jelly Belly flavor. How about that? And there's a lot to choose from. All right, guys, I'm saying goodnight. Have a wonderful week. We'll be back next Monday at 6 p.m. Pacific time. And have a great day. And have a great week. Good night.